So we call a historian, they called it al-ansaab. So al-ansaab is not just the nasab, the genealogy, but also what happened at each level, and the histories and the battles and the tragedies and the dramas. All of this is al-ansab. So this is, Abu Bakr is a historian, if you like. And it is narrated in Ibn Ishaq multiple times that whenever the Prophet ﷺ would go to give da'wah to a tribe, he would take Abu Bakr with him. And he would ask Abu Bakr, who are these people? What do I need to know about them, basically, right? And Abu Bakr would tell him, these are so-and-so, the children of so-and-so, this happened with them, these are their specialities, this is, don't mention this topic. So Abu Bakr was the personal, if you like, Nassab, or the genealogist or the historian of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And also in the famous incident of Hassan ibn Thabit, that when the Quraysh wrote a satirical poem against the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said to Hassan, stand up and respond to this poem and Jibreel will help you. So Hassan said, Ya Rasulullah, I don't know anything about the Quraysh. I don't know what to say, what not to say. So he said, Abu Bakr, stand and go with him and tell him all he needs to know. So Abu Bakr was the one chosen that you give the facts, Hassan, you make the poem, right? So this is now teamwork, by the way. You managers here, this is teamwork, each speciality. That the guy who knows the facts, the guy who knows the how to make the poems come together and go and do your job. And Ibn Hajar also narrates that Abu Bakr was the most beloved of the Nassabun, the Ilm al-Ansab specialists of the Quraysh, because he never uttered a vulgarity or a bad thing about anybody. It was in his nature that he never mentioned that type of stuff, and he would overlook it, even in the days of Jahiliyyah. So he became beloved because everybody would only hear the good about his tribe. And of course Abu Bakr knew that stuff, and when needed to, he could say it. So when Hassan needed it, he told them things. But it was not his nature to go and smear other people, which was in contrast to other genealogists who would love to smear other tribes and boost their own. Abu Bakr was a fair and neutral person, so the people loved him for this. And in fact, there's a hadith narrated in Sahih Muslim that the Prophet ﷺ said that Inna Abu Bakr la'a'lamu an-nasi bil-ansabi fil Quraysh, that Abu Bakr is the most knowledgeable of the ilm al-ansab in the Quraysh. So the Prophet ﷺ testified to this knowledge of Abu Bakr as-Siddiq. Also, of the things that we know even from before Islam is that he was of chaste, dignified, decent character. As-Suyuti, the famous historian, he mentions that Abu Bakr radiallahu anh, even before coming to Islam, he never drank alcohol, he never engaged in premarital fahisha, and he never venerated an idol. And this is very rare for the pre-Islamic Arabs. Very rare. And Abu Bakr was one of those very few people that didn't do any of these things. And there's a report by Aisha radiallahu anha that she mentions her father, and she says that Abu Bakr made khamr haram on himself even before Islam. Abu Bakr made khamr haram because she says, once Abu Bakr passed by as a young man, he passed by a drunkard on the street. And the drunkard was acting in a manner that drunkards act, and he had put his hand in defecation on the street, and his hand was full of this, and he's waving it in the air, and the disgusting thing is coming from his hand. And Abu Bakr felt such disgust at this that from that time on, even though he was a young man, he said, I don't want to drink khamr. And wallahi, this is so true. Those amongst us who have never drank khamr, and yet we look at the people, wonder what would be the pleasure that you would want to act like this. Why would you want to put yourself in that situation? And this is Abu Bakr as-Siddiq as well, that he's just looked at the reality of alcohol and he says, I don't want to act like this. And so he made khamr haram on himself. And